Hello there. Time to start the new video. Gonna be reading my book, Ashes of Magic, Arcane Fables, by, well, me. So, if you happen to know who I am, I guess I'll have to move this just so I can actually talk into the mic. Chapter 1. Dragons, a voice shrieked, waking up the village. Every man, woman, and child in the village could hear the sound of distant thunder grow closer. The sound, well known to the villagers as the sound of dragons' wings striking its backs. See, that's the thing. Already here, I'm kind of wished I changed some of the vocabulary. I don't like how I have the villagers in here twice, and I would have liked to describe the wings striking the back of the dragon a little bit better. But honestly, first book always has the most issues. So hopefully later on in these videos, when I finally get to further and further books, I'll have less and less things to actually comment on. Because it just, off the first paragraph, it sounds off. At least to me it does. Who knows? Maybe it sounds perfect to people who are interested in it. Let's continue. Humans scurried around like mice in the dead of night, till the light, as bright as the sun, I can't even read my own writing. Emanated. Yeah, I dictate most of my work, so please forgive me. Emanated from the 3 crimson dragons as they flew in closer, coating the earth with ash, their fire breath incinerating everything it touched. The humans headed out of their main encampment, running towards the non-obstructed open fields. Far too few of the humans had magic, and only a few of the ones who did had the ability or understanding of how to use it. The ones who could threw up barriers which were only noticeable by the few who were standing motionless. The skies before them seemed to bend, like steam on a hot day, as they tried to shield themselves from the dragon's fire. When the blaze hit the wall, when the blaze hit the wall of bending light, it froze in place. One such human did not run, but tried to shield himself. The shield burst under the sheer magnitude of the fire from the dragons. The fire that had been frozen seemed to grow in a single moment, swallowing the caster, who with an explosion of flames before extinguishing an instant later, leaving nothing but ash, leading the other few casters in the small village to flee in fear. Oh my gosh, that's already a mouthful, and I already see many issues right there. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have... See, that's the thing. You always look back at your first work and just go like, I wish I would have changed this. I wish I would have changed this. Yeah, because there are a few things here that already seem to... Well, I know what they mean. That's the thing. I know exactly what I'm trying to say, but apparently I doubt if anyone else will. And the problem is I'm also dyslexic, and I'm trying to read my old work, and I dictate most of it because I am dyslexic and I can't spell worth crap. I can't read worth crap, and here I'm trying to read what I had dictated previously. So it's this is going to be rather entertaining, I hope. Suddenly, okay, I need to continue. Suddenly, an obsidian dragon, half the size of the other 3 red dragons, as he was a male, came down from the sky and sunk his teeth into the lead crimson dragon, bringing her down upon what could only be assumed to be a nomadic dwelling, which had been assembled of sticks and animal skins. The earth shook with an impact of the felled dragon. The curiosity of the humans was so aroused that against their better judgment, they turned around. "He has come to save us," an elderly woman dressed in tattered leathers and with a painted face called out with glee. "He has come to save us, our savior. she continued, as she dropped on her knees, bowing her head to the floor. While the humans were watching, the obsidian dragon had risen his back straight. Okay, I need to start this paragraph over. Yeah, I am not going to edit. I'm just going to continue powering on through. Hopefully I'll get better at this over time. But, yeah, that's far too long. Yeah, that's 5 minutes, and I've only gotten one page through. You can see how bad I am at reading and how many things I have to say. While the humans were watching... Some people are going to be really upset that I stop in the middle of each actual story beat. While the humans were watching, the obsidian dragon had risen his back up straight, standing on his haunches, while still gripping the larger dragon by her neck, with her snotched body raised off the ground. Snotched. Shocked. I was getting an 8. Okay, dyslexic. What can I say? Shocked, as he still gripping the larger dragon by her neck, with her shocked body raised from the ground. Okay, the crimson dragon, coming to her senses, lashed out with her talons and cut the black dragon across the midsection of his body. But as it did not deter him, she regained her footing and stood upright. The male, being half her size, and weight, was easily lifted off the ground as he still clung. I'm losing track of where I'm at. As he still clung fast to her neck. She opened her wings and was about to take flight and finish off the little traitor in the air when the obsidian dragon reached out his winged claw and used them to latch into the crimson dragon. With his teeth still in her neck, she began to panic and dropped to the ground, trying to crush the male. However, that only drove the tension. However, that only drove the tenacious little dragon's teeth deeper into her neck. She stood back up in an attempt to free herself, flinging her body back and forth. The black dragon began to release his grip of her neck, while in the motion of being flung, but at the very last moment, he clenched his jaw down even harder. Her momentum threw the obsidian dragon into another nearby dwelling, collapsing it to the ground, while her throat was ripped out. Her eyes went wide, and blood began to pour out of her wound. The male dragon stood up from the pile of rubble they had created, where the shanty dwellings had formerly stood. He looked back at the dragon, who was a darker crimson now that she was covered in her own blood, and saw her form writhing in the dirt as she tried to get one last breath of air. The other two red dragons had paused in the sky as spectators of the battle as it carried on below them. They did not make any moves to assist their companion as they watched the battle unfold, and the following unexpected demise of the defeated dragon. The black dragon took stock of his surroundings around the settlement, which was now in ruin. He was aware of all the humans in the vicinity, frozen and gawking at him in amazement, many on their knees, groveling and praising him. The male dragon looked back at the two red dragons who had remained in place, hovering in the air, as if not sure what to make of the traitorous dragon. he narrowed his eyes at the two, opened his wings wide, and bent his knees, and launched off the ground. I would have actually changed that to as he launched off the ground. It just seems more, yeah. The female dragons, upon seeing the menacing look that he had given them, readied themselves for retreat. They both sent out a breath of air, a breath of fire, in the direction of the black dragon, and used that cover to turn and flee, slightly off the course of the black dragon's projected trajectory. Oh, that's a tongue twister. The obsidian dragon burst through the cloud of fire. His sharp-toothed mouth opened wide and snapping down violently on the air where the red dragons had previously hovered. Looking around and seeing which direction the dragons had taken, he veered towards them, using his light frame to gain speed, quickly gaining advantage over them. From above, with several rapid wing strides, he dropped himself down close enough to get a winged claw into what would be the shoulder blade of one of the red dragons, hooking her while also hooking the second red dragon through the thigh with a talon on his other wing. The red dragon, with the pierced thigh, was carrying the full weight of the other red and black dragons. The second red dragon, whose shoulder was held onto by the small black dragon, could no longer fly. With that wing, could no longer fly with that wing, as long as the small black dragon held on with his surprisingly strong grip. Finally, the male could not fly, as both his wings were occupied, holding onto the two larger dragons. So the dragons, with both wings free, slowed their descent to the ground as she simultaneously tried to release herself from his grip by flying and trying to use her other leg to gouge the black dragon's wing, in the hope he would release his talon from her leg. Let's see how far I have to go. This is just, you know what? I'm going to get to that point and then just take a break. Yeah, because this is already going for quite a while. I'm a slow reader. The small black dragon focused on his struggling focused on his struggling adversaries, tore his claw out of the dragon's shoulder, while still maintaining control of her by craning his neck to latch his fangs into the jugular of that dragon. As he wrenched out both his claws and the red dragon's wings, with one brutal yank, he let the bleeding, flightless, dying body drop to the ground. Since the remaining red dragon's load had lightened considerably, she turned her head to watch her companion fall, and as she watched her fall limply to the ground, she sent a blast of fire downward, directed at the small, and what could only be thought to be rabid black, still hanging off her thigh. Rabid black dragon still hanging off her thigh. I skipped a word. The male dragon took the hit of fire, but as they were both dragons, the fire did not do much except to cauterize the wound the small black dragon had sustained across the midsection, and the hole he had made in her thigh when he hooked her with his claw. In feeling her self-inflicted pain from the fire, the red dragon stopped her fire breathing, which had lasted only a moment. The obsidian dragon, now having his other wing free, and the pain which had come from cauterizing a wound dissipating, plus the added adrenaline of the fight, used the claws of his wings as it grips to climb onto the back of the red dragon, digging his talons in deeper with every step. The red dragon, seething in pain, stopped flying and began to fall to the earth. She began to spiral as she tried to turn to grab the attacker. Grab her attacker. In the corkscrew fall, the small black dragon bit down as hard as he could into the back of her neck, then let go, releasing himself from the hold and the fall. He stopped in midair by opening his wings, and a wink later, the final red dragon hit the ground where she ultimately found her death. The male dragon remained hovering in midair, looking upon the ruined forms of the 3 red dragons, turned to look at a distant point beyond, then flew away. All right, I think I'm going to stop there. I'm not even close to finishing chapter 1. I'm a slow reader. I kept stumbling over my own writing, which is kind of embarrassing. Laugh if you will. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I will finish this one for sure. But if I don't go anywhere, then maybe I'll just won't read my other ones when they finally come out.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.